Welcome to the Chronicles of Rome, Episode 23, Marius's Reforms, Legions Reborn. Imagine Rome teetering on the edge of crisis, with its vexilla fluttering over a republic, frayed by endless war and dwindling strength. It's 107 BCE, and Gaius Marius seizes his second consulship to forge the legions anew as he shatters centuries of custom. In Numidia, the Jugurthine War simmers with Lucius Cornelius Sulla, carving his path through the dust, while beyond the Alps the Cimbri and Teutones sharpen their blades for a strike that will scar Rome's pride. From the furnace of Marius's vision rises an army remade as he opens the ranks to landless men and ties them with promises of land for blood, while loyalty bends from the state to the generals who command them. This is no mere tweak, but a molten recasting of Rome's might with every march and thrust. This is episode 23, spanning 107 to 105 BCE. We'll stand with Marius as he reforms the legions with purpose and precision, and recruits the Capite Censi, who hoist Rome's banners with raw hunger. We'll tread Numidia's scorched sands where Sulla's cunning ends the Jugurthine War, and watch the Rhone turn red at Arausio when Cimbri and Teutones crush Rome's legions in a defeat unmatched since Cannae. These years crowned Marius consul again and reforged the Republic's heart while stirring unrest in Sicily for the next tale. The story opens in 107 BCE when Rome hums with the clamor of a city stretched thin, and Gaius Marius takes the consulship at 50 with broad shoulders and a growl honed in Arpinum's fields. The Republic falters under threats that bear its weaknesses as the Jugurthine War drags on in Numidia, with a crafty foe slipping through Rome's grasp, while the Cimbri and Teutones loom beyond the Alps, with numbers swelling past 100,000 and axes thirsting for Roman blood. Before Marius, the legions lean on propertied men who own land or livestock as proof of their stake in Rome's fate. Yet years of war have bled these ranks dry, with fields lying fallow and sons lost to battle or debt. The old system chokes on its limits as maniples of 120 stumble against foes who demand more bodies and sharper steel, while consuls like Metellus flounder in Numidia and leave the Senate scrambling for answers. Marius sees Rome's peril and seizes his chance with the plebs at his back, who cheer his name as a man of their own risen from humble soil. He reforms the legions not just for war but for power, and opens them to the Capite Censi, who lack land or wealth and stand eager to fight for a future Rome once denied them. The Senate balks at arming the rabble, yet Marius knows the Republic's survival hangs on numbers and resolve as Numidia tests Rome's reach and the Germanic tribes threaten its heart. He aims to bind these landless men to his cause with promises of plots carved from conquered soil and fuel his own ascent, while breaking the grip of patricians who hoard command and glory. His reforms spring from necessity and ambition as he crafts an army to outlast Jugurtha's raids and meet the Cimbrian storm with a force loyal to him above all. He swells each legion to 6,000 men and replaces maniples with 10 cohorts of 600 as the core unit, so each fights as a unified block under its centurion, while the old lines of hastati and principes and triarii fade into one rank of heavy infantry with no divide by wealth or age. He drills them hard and sets a march of 20 miles a day, with each man hauling 60 pounds of gear on a forked stick called a furca, as tents and tools and rations stack atop their backs, so they earn the name Marius's mules, with sweat soaking their tunics. The cohort stands self-reliant and locks into testudo formation, with shields tight against spears or arrows, while pila soar overhead and gladii reap blood up close. Marius arms each legionary with gear built for war and wear as he drapes them in a lorica hamada that weighs 30 pounds, with iron rings linked from neck to thigh and clanks with every stride across Numidia's sands. A cassis of bronze tops their heads with a broad brim and neck guard, while a red horsehair crest sways to mark their rank and stoke fear as dust trails their march. They sling a scutum over their backs with its 4-foot curve of layered wood and leather, bearing an iron boss to smash foes, while its red paint shines under a bull or eagle emblem that ties them to their cohort. 2 pila rest in their hands, with each 6-foot javelin tipped in soft iron that bends on impact to snag shields or flesh, and weighs 4 pounds as they hurl them 50 yards before closing with steel. The gladius at their hip stretches 2 feet of double-edged iron with a sharp point for stabbing ribs or slashing throats, and swings in a leather baldric that slaps their thigh with each step. Greaves of bronze shield their shins, and hobnailed caligae grip the ground with iron studs as they tramp over sand and rock, while a red wool tunic peeks beneath their armor, and a focal scarf wards off chafing at the neck. He crowns each legion with a silver aquila and shapes it from precious metal atop a pole as an eagle with wings spread and talons clutching thunderbolts, while soldiers vow to guard it with their lives as the spirit of their unit. Auxiliary cohorts wield slings and bows and light spears to skirmish ahead, while cavalry ride with long spathae and round shields as their horses snort through the haze, yet the heavy infantry forms his bedrock with every man a piece in a war machine. Training welds them as centurions shout commands, and legionaries spar with wooden swords twice the weight of steel until their arms ache and their pila hits straw targets with deadly aim, while sweat pools beneath their cassis and discipline turns the landless into Rome's spear. In Numidia, this new army marches with 20,000 legionaries under Marius's gaze as their shields glow red and sea spray thickens with ambition, while they hunt Jugurtha across dunes, with scorpions losing bolts and steel clashing against breaking shields. By 106 BCE, Marius drives deeper into Numidia, with his reformed legions proving their worth as they sweep through rugged hills and baked plains where boots sink in sand and dust swirls with goat bleats. Lucius Cornelius Sulla gains prominence at 34 with keen eyes and a sharp mind as Marius's deputy, while leading cavalry sweeps and ambushes that harry Jugurtha's spearmen who dart like shadows across the waste. Sulla's star rises with each skirmish, and his name echoes in campfires as soldiers whisper of his daring, yet tension simmers beneath his bond with Marius, who commands the broader war. Jugurtha slips through their grasp and gold still buys him time, while Numidian horsemen raid Roman lines with shouts mixing with fly buzz under a relentless sun. In 105 BCE, the Jugurthine War ends when Sulla steps forward and negotiates with King Bocchus of Mauritania, who stands at 40 with a wavering heart as Rome's pressure mounts. Sulla feigns talks near Cirta and lures Jugurtha to a trap where torches flicker and whispers taut in the air before seizing him in a tent with silk torn and eyes flashing defiance as betrayal's stench grows heavy. Rome prevails and Numidia bows at last while Marius claims victory as consul, yet Sulla's role in Jugurtha's capture sows discord, per Plutarch, who notes, "Ambition fueled their rift as a spark for future strife." Marius returns to Rome with laurels shining under Forum's sun, but the Republic reels from a darker blow beyond the Alps. That same year, 105 BCE brings Arausio, where Quintus Servilius Capio and Gnaeus Mallius Maximus lead 40,000 legionaries along the Rhone at 45 and 50, with rivalry proving fatal as before. Capio's 20,000 hold the west bank, while Mallius's 20,000 guard the east, and Capio rejects coordination to expose a gap that 30,000 Teutones exploit by fording midstream with axes gleaming and chants rising. Mallius's hastati clash first, but Capio delays, so Teutones swing west to encircle. While Principes crumble, and longswords hack with pila snapping, until Triarii are overwhelmed and the riverbank turns to a slaughterhouse. 80,000 Romans perish per levy, though numbers may swell in tale as bodies clog the current and blood's tang blends with horned whales in Rome's worst defeat since Cannae 2 centuries prior. Italy quakes with the Forum hushed, while mothers clasp sons under a leaden sky, and Rome's legions lie broken. Marius rises again in 105 BCE when plebs elect him consul, once more at news of Arausio, with his name a beacon amid panic, as senators yield to his iron will. He rebuilds the legions with Capite Censi, who flood the ranks and carry his reforms forward, while land promises bind them closer and shift their oaths from state to general with each step toward the Cimbrian threat. Rome's reach holds in Numidia but falters in Gaul as shadows lengthen over Sicily, where slaves sharpen tools into weapons and whisper of broken promises from wars past. But remember this: Rome once stood as a city of landed men, with its legions born from fields and hearths, while loyalty tied them to the Republic's soil. Each blade served the state, and every triumph lifted its name. Now Marius crafts a force from the dispossessed who fight for their general's pledge and bend Rome's steel to his grip. From these ranks rises a power that shifts the Republic's heart as oaths turn personal and ambition takes root. What it was fades with the old roles, while what it becomes stirs in Numidia's dust and Arausio's blood, with a future poised between order and strife. This has been the Chronicles of Rome. Join us next time for 104 BCE and beyond, when the Second Servile War erupts in Sicily, as slaves revolt under Salvius, King Tryphon, and Marius takes his third consulship with Rome's legions remade in his image.